Ugh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a huge scandal out there. There should be many. With this Solyndra solar nonsense, which we hit first. And we hit it first not because I'm a genius or I'm on top of it, but because of a caller who worked there. And she called Wednesday's show, and the next day the FBI swooped down on this place and was gathering records. There's a big hearing in Congress on this today, and of course the Obama spin doctors, propagandists are out there saying it's Bush's fault. Just ignore their idiocy. Let's get to the bottom of this. It was Obama who went there. It was him, his people who met with them. It was his program that funded them and blew $500 million of your dollars. Now, the lady who called us, she gave a fake name, Jenny, but we vetted her, and it's true. She was or is an employee of this scandalous operation. She was calling us from KSFO country out in the Bay Area. Here she is. Cut one. I'm replaying it from last Wednesday because this is what helped break this thing. Cut one, go. Let us go to Jenny. That's not her real name. We're giving her cover. In the Bay Area, the great KSFO. How are you, Jenny?
Oh, I'm great. It's an honor to talk with you, Mark.
Thank you. Now, you work where?
I actually work for a company that worked on the Solyndra, the solar manufacturing plant, out in Fremont here in the Bay Area.
That was supposed to be a green company, and it went under, right?
Actually, yes. But the interesting thing about it is while we were out there, while we were building it, because it is a $500 million plant, everyone already knew that China had developed a more inexpensive way to manufacture these solar panels. Everyone knew that the plant wouldn't work, but they still did it. They still built it, and basically wasted all that money. Obama flew out and did an appearance out there, and actually they're filing bankruptcy next week. And
let me underscore this. This was $500 million in American taxpayer money for something that the people working there already knew that it wasn't feasible.
Yes, and actually it's been less than a year and it's going bankrupt. It's just
do you believe
such a waste
that
of money.
Well, do you believe the Obama administration knew it wasn't feasible?
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't high on a totem pole at all, and even someone like me knew that, and we were still breaking ground.
In the media?
Supposedly, it was one of those things that the money was already there. They were going to use it. They were actually supposed to build two, and only one was ever done because I think they actually realized it wasn't going to work. It's just a real shame. And less than a year open, and it's going bankrupt. $500 million.
Well, this to me is fraud. If the Obama administration, they had to know it. If you all knew it wasn't feasible, surely they had to know it too.
Yeah, it was, from what I understood, and I don't know 100%, but one of the issues was shipping. China was having problems shipping their photovoltaic cells without so much damage. That was where they were losing cost.
Can I hold you over? I want to pursue this a little bit further because I think this is a potentially huge scandal, Jenny, okay?
Okay.
Back to Jenny. Okay, let's stop right here. This is, I'm on live right now. This is a call from last Wednesday from a lady. We gave her the name Jenny on the Solyndra scandal. And she called from KSFO land, the Bay Area. And she made it quite clear that this was fraud from day one. That even she, a fairly low-level worker, quote-unquote, was well aware that this was unfeasible from day one. We now know there are emails from certain individuals, senior up in the Obama administration, suggesting they not pursue this. We know the money came from the phony stimulus bill. We know there were meetings with executives at the White House, and we know that executives, top executives of this firm, contributed heavily to the Obama campaign. Let's proceed, Mr. Producer. Solyndra, this is the company where the taxpayer provided over $500 million. Obama went there and visited it. He touted it. It was less than a year ago, I think. And as you point out, you were not a senior level, high level employee, a worker bee, so to speak.
Basically.
And you knew, and everybody else knew, that this enterprise was never going to work. It was going to fall on its face because the red Chinese were building it cheaper.
Yeah. Even at one point, it was supposed to close, I believe, actually even sooner. But because of the publicity that Obama brought by his visit, whether that was intentional or not, is really the only reason it stayed open as long as it did. And it's been less than a year. And I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the first few contracts for the orders were government anyway.
So this is a scam.
Well, it didn't keep very many people working very long. It was a very fast-paced, very quick construction job, very expensive. There is state-of-the-art everything in that facility. Anyone can read about it or look it up online. Actually, they had just installed brand-new equipment. They were continuing to install brand-new equipment up to the week that they closed. And when they laid everybody off, and that's exactly what they did, is they laid everyone off. I think it was 1,100 people. It was with no notice, and they cut off their health care immediately. It was actually in the paper, so anyone can read about this if they choose to.
Do you know what a Potemkin village is?
No.
Potemkin village. These were built by the communist regimes. They became actually the czarist was the reference given to them. They basically were a village or the front of a village that was built so that visitors and reporters from outside, when the communists would try to show how wonderful their system was, they would bring them to the Potemkin village, or they would drive by these facades to try and create the illusion of some prosperity, of some economic progress and so forth. That's what this was. A $500 million Potemkin village built by we, the American people, so Obama could point to it. The problem is it went bankrupt too fast. I'm sure he was hoping it would have, it could have hung in there until after the election.
Well, that's what I think. I also think, I believe they asked him what he thought, because he did put his face all over this, and his comment was more of an, oh, well, I think the newspaper even said, he said, well, we're trying to be green, and it's difficult, but not really accepting any blame or not really pinpointing anything, just kind of a general, oh, well.
By the way, it's not the only one to go under. Several of them have gone under. They're not creating green jobs. This is a huge waste to the taxpayers. And how much you want to bet, Jenny, that tomorrow when he gives his big, grand, historic speech about how he's going to create jobs, if only the Republicans will agree to his spending plans, how much do you want to bet that there'll be more of this type of nonsense?
Yeah, I think there's so much opportunity here and so many amazing things that we could make if we just do it correctly and tap to the correct markets. But to build things we know are already obsolete, that kind of a price tag is just unbelievable.
Well, that was from last Wednesday, a week ago, that helped spur Congress to act. The Solyndra scandal, which is the tip of the green iceberg scandal. And in the name of green energy, in the name of the environment, they think they can get away with anything, folks. They think they can use these programs and these entities. So who's going to pay us back our $500 million, ladies and gentlemen? Will Barack Obama's campaign? Will the DNC? Will the big Democrat activists who contribute to his campaign pay? Where do we get our money back? How come that question's never asked, ever?